Let's see if this thing started, y'all. It did. It started. Okay. I am on the second one. I think this is the second one in your packet. I hope it is, because I'm going through my little packet. Let me show you my packet. Hold on. Let me get up. Because the other one, I went from the little King of June to, it'll be, the second one should be George's Secret Trip. That's the second one. And then the next two I'll do after this is the chocolate and the water. Okay. So we are on George's Secret Trip. Wasn't Killian going to be George Washington? Killian was going to be George Washington. That is true. Killian, this is you. One night, George Washington and his soldiers made a secret trip across the icy Delaware River. That trip made history. Ooh, a secret trip. I love secret trips. Don't y'all? Only they're fun, though. If they're bored, don't sign me up. Keep me out. As we read, it says, think about why George's secret trip was so important. Ooh, this is like a mission. We're like little agents, y'all. Okay, let's see here. We are flippity-flopping to the next page. Okay. We're on a secret crossing. You see it right here? Right there. I think that's George. That's George right there, I want to say. Okay, secret crossing. Long ago, our country was ruled by England. We fought a war to be free. The war was called the Revolutionary War. So the Revolutionary War is where we got our freedom from England. Because we, let's say, I think I can act this out. Let's see what we got. Well, I got sauces. That may work. Okay. So this Chick-fil-A sauce was us in England, right? We got here on it. Okay. We crossed the waves and waters. And we got to America. Really, the Italians found it first. Amerigo Vespucci. I think that's his name. That's who found America first, but we'll let that be. And we found it and we settled. But we were still part of England. So England sitting over here owned us. And we did everything for them. And we just got tired of it. We didn't want to pay them no more. They weren't giving us anything. We just felt like we needed to be our own country. So we started a war. The Revolutionary War, to be exact. I think we threw... No. When did we throw the water into the... We threw... The Boston Tea Party. That is a part of it. We threw their tea into the, harbor. Okay, George Washington was in charge of the American Army. So he was the leader. He was a big man. Just like Miss Cleveland's in charge of our classroom. That's who George Washington is. In charge of everything. This is the story of one of the most important battles. So this battle is super important, apparently. And the battle it's a secret trip. We haven't learned what the battle is yet. I wonder what it is. Are y'all thinking about that? Let's find out. Let's see what we got going. We got a tired army. So we are right here on this page, y'all. It was December 1776. That's a long time ago, y'all. The war had been going on for more than a year. The American army had lost many battles. Ooh, we lost a lot of battles. It happens, though. Some things happen. The soldiers were totally exhausted. When you think of exhausted, what do you think of? I think of just being so tired I can't do anything. Like, I would just lay right here and fall asleep, like that, you know? But I'm not exhausted right now. But they were totally exhausted. They fought all these battles. Just so much was going on around them. They just didn't know what to do. So they were exhausted. They were just a little bit tired, you know? And so from the long war, they didn't think they could win. They wanted to give up. Have you ever had something that you just kept trying and doing and you just... It came to a point where you were like, maybe just like isn't for me. I want to give up. Well, don't give up. Keep going. I promise it makes it worth it. I swear to you, it makes it worth it. Like, just keep going. Because you never know what you'll miss out on if you don't try. And you just quit in the middle of it. Don't ever do that. Just keep trying. No matter how hard it gets. Sometimes maybe like take a little break and then go back at it. And that's what they did. They just kept going. Even though they were tired and they were exhausted, they kept going. George knew the army needed to win a battle to feel hopeful again. He had a plan. Have you ever heard the word hope? What do you think of when you hear hope or like hopeful? Like if you're hopeful for something or you have hope for something. I think of like, it's something that you really like dream and wish you, like you want. Like something, Like, that makes you happy, or something you don't think is possible, and then you have hope for it, and then all of a sudden it happens, maybe. Okay, let's see here. A daring plan. George and his soldiers were camped on one side of the river. The enemy was a few miles away on the other side of the river. Oh my gosh, I gotta show y'all this. I think I have. Oh, I got a straw right here. They gave me extra straw. Okay. If this is our river right here, I don't know. Can I flip this camera, y'all? I don't know if I can flip it. I don't think I can. I'll hold it up. I thought I could. I don't know how to work my iPhone. Okay, so here's our river right here. It goes this way. George and them are right here. And the British are on this side. So they're just on opposite sides of the river. They're very close to one another, but on opposite sides. That's a little scary. Let's see. Okay, let's see what we got next. George's plan was to cross the river in the middle of the night and sneak up on the enemy. No one would see them coming. So it's like a little sneak attack during the night. So he was waiting for the British to go to sleep, and then they were going to zoop, 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 across the water. There was just one problem. The weather was awful. We've had awful weather before. We know awful weather. When it's icy, or it's cold, or wet, or just you can't see anything, too much fog, all of that. Bad weather. But they had bad weather. An icy crossing. Wow, that was lucky, wasn't it? I said icy a little bit earlier. A horrible... Sorry, y'all. A horrible storm was raging. Snow, rain, hail, and sleet fell from the sky. Icy winds howled and stung the soldiers' faces. So you know whenever you're walking through the snow or playing in the snow and it's really icy and cold and your face just gets so red it hurts. That's what was happening to the soldiers. All day the storm kept getting worse and worse. Day turned to night and the storm didn't stop. George couldn't wait any longer. It was time to go. So he was ready to go. He said, we can't wait any longer. It's just going to get worse. So either we make our move now or we just don't do it at all. So the crossing was hard. It was so dark the soldiers couldn't see the shore. The river was full of big chunks of ice. Strong waves rocked the boats. So they were rocking, and it was just, they couldn't see anything. Freezing cold water splashed into the boats and soaked the soldiers' feet. That is the worst feeling. And y'all know it. Like if you get your socks wet or something, and you have to feel it on your feet. But that was happening to them as they were crossing this river. The soldiers made it across. So they arrived. They got to this side of the river, right here with the British. The soldiers made it across, but they still weren't done. They had to march for hours through the snow. George rode his horse up and down the line of marching men. He encouraged them to be brave. He kept their spirits up. He encouraged. To be encouraged, what do y'all think that means? To be like, to be encouraged. To like really build somebody up to keep going. So like we encourage y'all to be the best you can be at anything that you're going to do. Like we encourage y'all. Like we try to help y'all through it. A surprise attack. Oh, that's where we are. As the sun started to rise, George and his soldiers were ready to attack. Would the daring plan work? It did! Oh my gosh! The enemy was totally surprised. After only an hour, the enemy gave up! Only after 1 hour, that enemy gave up. That's good for the army. George's army had finally won a battle. They finally won a battle. It took all that work and all that cold and hard times, but they were hopeful and they kept pushing and they were encouraged and they won the battle. The soldiers were exhausted and freezing cold, but they were happy. The battle made them hopeful, just like George had planned. Maybe they could win this war after all. It gave them the hope they needed to keep going. They were just building it little bit by little bit, even though they were freezing. But they gave him a little bit more hope. President George. He ended up becoming a president. He was our first president. I'm sorry, y'all. I had a moment. Everybody should know that he was our first president, George Washington. So, Killian, if you watch this, you were our first president ever. The war went on for 7 more years. Could you imagine that? 7 years. 7 years of your life That's a long time. That's a very long time. In the end, George's army won. The United States became a new and free country. Now we are the United States of America because of this war. The new country needed a leader. The people wanted someone brave and who made them feel strong. And we all know who did that, who encouraged them throughout this whole thing to keep going during that one battle. They picked the man who kept the army going on that cold, dark winter night. George Washington became the first president of the United States. He was our first president. He's on the dollar bill, I believe, too. We talked about that when we did money, y'all. Okay, let's see what the back says. That was a good story. I really like that story. I love history, though, so I'm biased. Okay, history mistake. I'm on the very back where the questions are that you have to answer, okay? You see that right here? Back up a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to read it like this because it's a little hard. Look at the painting on this page. It is famous. Okay, so this painting right here is famous. That's them crossing the That's them crossing the river. A lot of people, I've seen this image a lot. See, you have like, I believe, let me look at it, y'all. Hold on, give me 5 seconds. That's George right here. Yeah, that's George. Leading them. And that's them crossing in their little boats. It is famous. It shows George Washington and his soldiers crossing the river. But it has a mistake. The flag is wrong. The army used a different flag then. Turn to page 2 of this issue to see what a flag from that time looked like. A lot of things in the painting are right. The river looks icy, so the river looks icy. See that right there? Let me see, I can't read it upside down, y'all. Like it really was, and the soldiers look brave, like they really were. But the flag, so we need to look at this flag right here. I don't know how close I can get, and y'all can see it right there. Let's go to page 2 really fast. Oh, hold on, y'all. They are 2 different flags. Y'all have to look at that. I'm not going to show you because y'all need to look at it. So, don't forget that. The very last page, look at the flag on the back and the flag right here. That's interesting. Why do you think they have 2 different flags in each painting? Why the paintings have different flags? Think about that one. Okay, well, I will be back with y'all next week to read another one. I hope y'all have been safe. I'm about to put my glasses on. I can't see. I hope y'all have been safe and having fun and been going outside. I know I have been. I went to the park some before we went on, like, lockdown after 5 o'clock. I went to the park. I've been playing with my friends. I've been with my friends some. Maybe I can have Bo come in one of these videos, y'all. We'll have to see. But that is all I have got going. But I hope y'all are being safe. I love you. And I will read y'all 2 more next week, so just stay tuned.